Bonjour, my name is Louis Rheaume. Welcome to l'Académie Culinaire, and today I'm going to show you a fast and easy way to work with fish. To make today's papillote, which is fish cooked in a piece of paper, we need fresh fish. How do you tell fresh fish? First, you look at the eyes. If they're bulging, it's fresh. If they're convex like a lens, that's bad. If they're flat, it's not too bad. The other thing is to look at the gills. Now, if they're a nice bright blood red, perfect. If they're very brown, that's not as good. If they're in between, same thing, not too bad. Often the head is not on anymore, so you have to use your other senses. So you touch the flesh. If where you touch the flesh it bounces back up, no problem. If it leaves a big dimple, then it's not quite fresh. And of course, if it smells bad, then it's not usually very fresh. That's how you tell fresh fish. Now, all that we're going to do, you can ask your fishmonger to do. So you've got nice fillets that are ready to use. But if your partner comes back from fishing and you have to take care of it yourself, here's what you do. First, you take all the fins off. So with a good scissor or a good knife, make sure you've cut all the fins. The back one too. And then we're left with the scales. Take your chef's knife and run it against the scales on the fish. This is going to dirty your kitchen. So that's why it's a good idea to ask your fishmonger to take care of this if he can. As the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland said, off with its head. So first take the head off, keep it for stock, and now we want to work the fillet. So you go along its back bone and you gently lift the whole meat from the bones, like so. Nice fillet, just have to take the skin off. The only thing left to do now is to take the skin off. To do so, insert your blade between the flesh and the skin of the fish. Tug a little bit on the skin while you have a backward-forward motion of your blade. And there you go, skin is off. Now we need vegetables for this nice snapper papillote. And today we're going to use a little bit of fennel bulb. Now this is of the same family as celery, but it's got a slight licorice taste to it. And we want it very, very thinly sliced. So we're going to use this instrument called a mandoline. When using a mandoline, always use this safeguard because the blade is really very, very sharp and you don't want to cut your fingers. Once your fennel bulb is ready, set it aside. This is your mise en place, and attack the mango. Now, a mango always has an almond-shaped pit. So first off, cut at the base, and then cut along that almond-shaped pit as close as you can, starting from the top going to the bottom. And then you can take whatever is left of the flesh off the pit with your knife, or give it to your kids. They love chewing on those. All we have to do now is to julienne the mangoes. So essentially what we want is this nice little matchstick size bâtonnet. This is going to be perfect in our red snapper papillote. Fruit and veg go really well with snapper, and in this case we want to add a little bit of lime zest. So have a fine grater do the work for you here, and make sure your limes or lemons are nice and clean. And you see here It's very fine, but it's very fragrant, and this is going to be beautiful in our snapper papillote. Now we want to get some lime wedges, but without any of the skin. So cut both ends, and then cut the skin on the outside all around the lime. When you want to get to the flesh, take your paring knife and just go between the white membranes of the lime and get this nice flesh out. This is mostly juice, and it's going to be beautiful on the fish. For a papillote, you want to start with a piece of parchment paper or aluminum paper. In this case, this is parchment paper and can go in the oven. It doesn't burn when it's in a hot oven, but it will burn in a barbecue. So for a barbecue, do use aluminum paper. Start with a little bit of your fennel ball on the bottom and put a nice piece of your snapper on top. Now this is a good time to season with a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of the lime wedges and the lime zest. A little bit of coriander will add a lot of fragrance, and the fruit, or mango, is going to add this very nice juiciness. At this stage, two things are optional. A little bit of white wine, I like the taste. It gives a little bit of humidity in your papillote. And you can put a little bit of olive oil. But the beauty of this recipe is you don't have to put any fat, any oil to cook your fish. It's going to cook in the steam of the vegetable, and it's in its own steam. Now, all we have to do is wrap our papillote. So you fold this piece of parchment paper on itself, and you kind of cut away the corners to have kind of a semi-circular shape like this. You start at one end, and you just fold on itself the paper. You go all around like this. And once you've reached the other end, fold it back, and this is going to stay closed in the oven, and it's going to cook in its own steam. Once you've done this for all your pieces of fish, set them on a cookie sheet into a hot oven for about 12 minutes. It's been 12 minutes. Our papillote of red snapper is ready to go. Smells nice. The nice thing about papillote is that you can serve it in the paper in which it cooked. So just slide it on a plate, open it up nicely with a scissor, and then tear back the corners so your guests can see this beautiful meal that's very, very healthy.